Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Rivals Showdown, and in this particular Rivals matchup we're pitting the three newest shape Le Mans prototypes on GranTurismo in a head-to-head battle. Now in order to keep this fair, we are not tuning any of these cars beyond a basic oil change and uprated tyres. Apart from that, they are not upgraded. Now, the reason for that is because only one of these three cars can be upgraded, and that's the Audi R18. The other two from Toyota and Nissan, unfortunately and really stupidly, cannot be upgraded. Now, that being said, if you can upgrade the three, the Audi will win. So you can kind of take that as being two winners. The Audi would win when upgraded, but let's see which wins when they're not. As always, I have put extra information about these cars, such as tunes and reviews, in the description below, but for now, let's first of all break down each individual vehicle. First up we have the Toyota TS030 Hybrid. This is by far the most popular of the three vehicles in terms of how much use it gets from most GT6 players, and it's not hard to see why. The Toyota was an instant hit because it looks fantastic, it backs up those looks with actual usable performance, it's easy to drive, and although it doesn't have a huge amount of power at 556 horsepower, what it can do with the specs that it's given to work with are very impressive, especially for its PP. It does have the lowest PP of the three vehicles at just 623, but that makes it highly usable for PP specific racing. All in all, it's easy to drive, it's beginner friendly, it's extremely quick on technical circuits, and it's just a great all-round car. Next up we have the Audi, in particular the R18. This is of course a diesel vehicle rather than a hybrid, which the other two vehicles are, and as I said earlier, this is the only one of the three which you can upgrade. In upgraded form, it still doesn't have the kind of power of most of the slightly older Le Mans cars. It is though over 800 horsepower, which is pretty impressive. Being a diesel, you're also looking at a pretty healthy dose of torque. Now as far as straight line performance, this car is at least as good as the other two. When tuned it's even better, but that isn't too surprising. And although the Audi isn't quite as sharp in terms of its handling ability as the Toyota, it does have a very strong all-round ability as a Le Mans car. The Audi doesn't see as much use as some others, definitely not as much as the Toyota, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad car. It's still an excellent choice of Le Mans prototype. And finally we have the Nissan GTR LM Nismo. This was a very dangerous risk for Nissan. It didn't turn out too well for them because of a few different things. It wasn't quick enough overall against the more conventional mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars, and its hybrid system didn't work properly, which was unfortunate because it could have been an absolute straight-line monster. On the game, even though you can't upgrade the car, the performance that it has naturally in its existing form is still very strong. This is a car that's very easy to underestimate and to not use because it can be a bit awkward to tune. It's the only front-wheel drive Le Mans car in the game, and as such, it presents you with completely different tuning methods and options that are required to deal with that kind of drivetrain. If, though, you do take the time to tune the car correctly and learn how to use its advantages and disadvantages, then it will serve you well. But that's it for the breakdown of the three cars. Now let's compare the raw numbers. As you can see straight away from the specs, certain numbers do jump out very quickly and allow certain vehicles of the three to gain dominance. And it's very interesting as you pass through a series like Rivals to see just how often that kind of reverse of the cliche happens, where the car with the best numbers is not the best in terms of actual lap time, and the car which often gets the least amount of points is often one of the best. That's definitely the case here because the Toyota, with only 1 point overall, and that's for price, which is exactly the same as the other two, is the fastest of the three. Now, I've put all three vehicles' lap times in the description below, but suffice to say, the Toyota was the quickest, then the Audi, and then the Nissan, but there was very, very little between them. All three cars were within 1 second of each other, and that's pretty impressive given just how different mechanically they actually are. But to break down those numbers, it is the Nissan overall which has the most points, and is the slowest of the three, again playing into that kind of reverse cliche that we see pop up time and time again in this Rivals series. The Audi does manage to get itself a bonus point, as well as just having the obvious point that they all get for having the same price, and that is its engine size. It is the largest of the three, although all three cars have relatively small engines due to the current regulations. Apart from that though, the Nissan gets a really easy clean sweep. Now, as I said at the start of the video, if you do tune the Audi, it wins. But for the sake of fairness, we've left them as they are. And as they are, the Nissan is a strong vehicle, at least on paper. The power is far higher than the other two, as is the torque. Although the torque is very good on the Audi as well, it's a little bit lighter than the other two, and as such, of course, the horsepower per tonne is also higher. The PP is also far higher, but I would say that's actually a disadvantage for the Nissan. The 663 PP level really does not work to the car's advantage. It should not be that high. Yes, it's a quick car, but as we saw, it's the slowest of the three, so it definitely should not be that high. It should be more around, say, 640 PP, if not even less. Unfortunately, though, that's just the way it is. And so overall, that means that the winner of this matchup on paper, of course, which is, as we've seen time and time again, not a true method of gauging which is the best of the three, this is purely for fun, is the Nissan with 6 points. Coming in second with 2 points is the Audi, and coming in last, the quickest of the three, with 1 point, is the Toyota. But that's it overall for this particular Rivals matchup. And as always, if there are other matchups of 2 or more vehicles that you would love to see, be sure to slap that down in the comments below. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.